Well, I think I've come up with a solution that's going to be cheap and easy to use in terms of trying to keep my cell phone bill at bay. First of which is the iPivo S020 Skype Wi-Fi phone. That's this. Okay. It's a typical candy bar phone. It uses Wi-Fi to basically connect to Skype, and you can make calls over Wi-Fi in public hotspots or your own network. And since I'm in Wi-Fi most of the time, my university's the main building I'm going to be in for my classes next semester, excuse me, has at least 4 networks to choose from, all of which are open. I've got my own home network, obviously. The only thing that I'm not sure about is the airports, and we'll get to how I'm going to cover that in a moment, because obviously Skype also cannot handle emergency calls. So some of you might be thinking, well, wait a moment, if you're going to go to this, how are you going to handle emergency calls if you need them? So give me a moment. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Here's a little link to all the plans. Don't ask why it says Mexican subscription tab, it just does. The second thing is the MiFi 2200 Intelligent Mobile Hotspot. What is that? That is a box. I can't really say how big it is. I've seen them in person. I never thought to get the dimensions, but it is small. And what this is it takes Verizon's data and turns it into a Wi-Fi hotspot for up to 5 devices that my Skype phone could feed off of. And because I don't use it all that much, I managed to find some prepaid mobile broadband services for reuse in vacation vacation spots and airports. And this is directly from Verizon. We've got $250 for $40 for the month. That's the lowest contract commitment, and that puts the MiFi at $50. Which, incidentally, the iPivo Skype phone is $130. 75 megs for 1 day, $250 for the week, or $500 for the month. Feel free to pause the video here to take a look at the rates. This last one here, $500 for the month, might be it. What that means basically is we plop $50 down for that month that we're going to be away from home. That I know that I'm not going to be in Wi-Fi too often. So there you go. It turns out to be $50 a year. Because, again, it's pay as you go. I only use it when I need it. And that would be whenever I'm not in a Wi-Fi hotspot. So basically the iPivo S020 Skype phone and the MiFi 2200 Intelligent Mobile Hotspot. Now hang on a moment. What if I need to make an emergency call? Or what if this thing is dead? Or what if the Skype phone is dead? Or what if I am in a new place? I thought there would be Wi-Fi, there isn't. Or there is, and I just can't connect to it. That's where this comes in. This is my older phone. This is the LG VX4650. The idea here would be basically to turn off my texts. You heard me right. Turn off my texts. And basically, if anybody wants to text me, they would just have to go to Gmail, or I would just have to leave them an outgoing message saying, hey, texts go to Gmail. My primary line is now my Skype in. This would remain off most of the time, and it would be used strictly for emergency calls or those times when Wi-Fi is not active. So basically, I would use this as an emergency phone. I would just reactivate it, because really it's still good. The only thing that's an issue with it is the battery that needs to be replaced, because it's getting up there in hours. That's number one. And number two, there's a big gash across the screen, but all that means is I cannot remove the case. Otherwise, it's perfectly capable. It's aside from that incident, it's never had a problem. Like I said, the battery just needs to be replaced, and basically, like I said, this would just remain off most of the time. as this would become my primary line. Now, let's look at it this way. With a phone like this as my primary line, it would be $60 per month for 700 minutes, and that does not include Canada. This is $60 per year, roughly, and this includes voicemail, call waiting. I believe it does call waiting, voicemail, call forwarding. It also includes unlimited calling to the US and Canada anytime. As long as you're in a Wi-Fi hotspot, you're good to go. The battery life on this phone is, I think IPVO claims for about 30 days of standby, 4 hours of talk, which I think is pretty good. Obviously, if I'm in a moving car and I don't have access to a Wi-Fi hotspot, this phone will remain off, so that actually makes it more power efficient than my Verizon phone that would be struggling in some rural areas to keep up with the signal. So, what do you think of that? What do you think of that for a plan? Basically, just go to this as my primary line, have that mobile hotspot for the times when I'm not in a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then if I absolutely have to, I would use this as an emergency phone. I would take it with me if my Wi-Fi phone is dead or I just can't get onto the network and I absolutely have to make a call, or there are times that I need to make an emergency call like a 911. That's where this comes in. Because the Skype phone, unfortunately, due to its the way they set things up is they don't give you a local number. At least I don't think they do. They would give you a 2-something number, I think. And also the Skype out number, if you choose not to have your Skype in number flashed on the caller ID, the Skype out number is randomly generated. This is not good for emergency services. Also, the Skype phones lack the GPS required to track you if you end up calling 911. So that's basically where the 4650 comes in. It would be an emergency phone only. And again, for those spots when I'm not in Wi-Fi. But basically the point is that it would be used a lot less. This would become my primary line. And it would be $5 a month for unlimited calling to the US and Canada without any worries at all. The only thing I'd have to worry about is the Wi-Fi network and the battery. And because I'm in Wi-Fi 90% of the time, like I said, my school's networks, I've got at least 5 or 6 of them to choose from. The only network that I cannot get on is the main network, which requires web browser authentication. That's something this phone cannot handle. But the main building where I'm going to be in has at least 3 or 4 networks that do not require that authentication. You just hop on them and boom, you're good to go. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. What do you think? Comments and questions are welcome. Insults against me will get you blocked, and have a nice day.